Hello, boys and girls. On today's story, boys and girls, our focus scale will be on setting. Setting. What is setting, boys and girls? Well, setting is very important to a story because the setting can tell us where and when. Where, boys and girls, means where does the story happen? Okay? Stories can happen, boys and girls, around the world. Different locations. Where are the characters at? It can happen even in space, maybe. It can happen in a forest, in a home, a school. It can happen on a train, or they can even happen in a castle. So when we know where the story is at, boys and girls, we look at the surroundings around us, okay? We look at what are they? We look for any clues to help us figure out where the story is taking place. And we also know when it's taking place, okay? So when and where go together to help us determine the setting. When does the story take place? We also look for clues because sometimes the story, boys and girls, can take place at night, or it can take place during the day. You see the sun. The time. When does the story take place? History. When was it? Sometimes characters, boys and girls, can tell us once upon a time because it goes back into time, a long time ago. Or during the seasons of the year, during the winter, during the spring, or during the fall, or the summer. When? What month? When was it happening? So we look for all these clues in the story, boys and girls, to help us find the setting. Where does the story happen? And when does the story happen? You ask yourself, why is the setting important to the story? It has important because it tells us a lot about what the characters might be doing, how they're acting, where they at. So setting, boys and girls, is very important when reading a story. Look for those clues around the story to help us determine when and where. Our title of the story that we'll be reading is called Maybe Something Beautiful, How Art Transformed a Neighborhood by F. Isabel Campoy and Teresa Howell, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. Boys and girls, take a look at our title page right here. Hey, what do you see? I see a little girl. She's holding a paintbrush. What do you see on top of her head? Lots of buildings, right? And take a look at her what's around her. What do you see it's different compared to her community or her neighborhood around her? I see lots of color around her. Lots of bright, beautiful colors. And in her neighborhood in the back or community is kind of not so beautiful, not so colorful. So this might give us a clue already about what this story might be. This story, boys and girls, is going to be about how art can change the world and how more beautiful it can be when there's so much art created around our imagination. Let's continue with our story. Okay, before we move on to our story, boys and girls, our vocabulary is what we'll be doing first. It's really important for us to know the vocabulary words before we read the story, to know the meaning and understand it better. Our first vocabulary word is the word heart. Heart. Let's look at our image right here, boys and girls. When you think of the word heart, what do you think of? Right, I think of the word heart like a big heart shaped like a Valentine heart, right? It's red, it's beautiful. Here I see lots of buildings and I see a big lots of green area right here. Could be a park. I see some like a little lake or a pond, a body of water, and more water back here. I wonder what the word heart could mean. Heart, boys and girls, is a noun. A noun tells us if it's a person, place, thing, or animal. And the word heart, boys and girls, is a noun because it's a thing. If you are the meaning of the word heart is if you are in the heart of a place, you are in its most important part. Okay? For example, the park is in the heart of the city, meaning that it is in the middle of the city. It's the heart. Kind of makes up the whole, it's a big part of the city that people love. Heart. Let's move on to our second vocabulary. Our next vocabulary word is the word gazed. Gazed. The word gaze, boys and girls, I wonder what it could mean. Let's look at our image right here. I see a little boy looking out the window, and I see that it's probably night because I see stars, shiny bright stars. Maybe he's making a wish. The word gazed, boys and girls, is a verb. A verb, boys and girls, shows action, what the person or thing is doing. The meaning of the word gazed is if you gazed at something, you looked at it for a long time. So in the image, we do see the little boy. He's looking up at the sky for a while. He's gazing up. For example, Greg gazed up at the night sky. Greg is a person, the name of a little boy. And what did he do? He gazed. That's why it is a verb. Gazed. Our next vocabulary word is the word dipped. Dipped. Let's look at our image right here. What do you all see? I see some tortilla chips and some guacamole, right? I like that. Do you like this? So dip, boys and girls, is when you put something into the plate and you scoop it up. You dip, just the way she's doing it right here to grab some guacamole on her chip. The word dipped is also a verb. It's a verb because it's showing the action of what something or somebody is doing. If you dipped something, you put it in another thing and took it out quickly. So that means that you put it in there, take it out quick, and you eat it. Dipped. She dipped the chip in the guacamole. Next vocabulary word is the word gloom. Gloom. Let's look at our image right here. What do you see? I see lots of tall trees, some leaves on the ground, kind of foggy. I wonder where this place could be at. Maybe it's a forest. It looks kind of gloomy. Gloomy means when it's kind of like foggy. Maybe the weather can be rainy or cold outside. There's not much sun because the trees cover the shade coming in, or any sunlight. Coming in. So there's lots of shade in here. Gloom is a noun because a noun can be a person, a place, thing, or animal. So gloom is a thing. A place filled, the meaning of the word gloom, is a place filled with gloom is dark and makes you feel sad because there's no sunlight coming in. It's dark, it's kind of cold. So this place is gloomy. It's not as bright as if the sun would be hitting it. Gloom. Example, The darkness and fog gave the forest a sense of gloom. Because when the forest, like I said before, it covers the the sunlight from coming in, so it's mostly shady in there because the trees cover that sunlight. Our next vocabulary word is the word decorated. Decorated. Decorated, boys and girls. If you look at the image right there, we see a bicycle, right? A beautiful, bright bicycle. So when you decorate something, boys and girls, it looks beautiful, right? You try to make it look the best you can. Decorated, boys and girls. If you decorated something, you added it to make it look nicer, how you want it to look. For example, Sally decorated her bike with flowers. It's of your liking, however you want to decorate it because you have a preference or you like something. Okay. Our next vocabulary word is the word canvas. Canvas. Our image here, boys and girls, we see a little girl and she's painting with a paintbrush. Okay, she's painting a picture of a dog. What she's painting on, it's not just a regular paper. What she's painting on is a canvas. Okay? A canvas, boys and girls, is it's a noun, first of all, because a noun is a person, place, or thing. A canvas is a thing, the thing that she uses to paint on, which is this right here. This is a canvas, like a little poster board. A canvas is a kind of cloth that people paint a picture on. So this right here is the canvas that she's painting on. For example, Chen likes to paint on canvas instead of paper. Canvas. Okay, our next vocabulary word is the word town. Town. Town, boys and girls, what do you see here? We think of the word like where we live in, right? We live in a town. I see businesses or houses and a road. A town is a noun also. A noun because it is a place. A noun is a place. A noun is a place where people live that is smaller than a city. Because a city is much more bigger with lots of more populated area. And here we have a much smaller area. And we don't have tall buildings because cities sometimes you see lots and lots of buildings and towns are much smaller. A town has buildings, streets, and people like a city does, but it is much smaller. Population is much smaller than compared to a city. Okay, and we'll stop there with our vocabulary. Once again, boys and girls, our title of the story is Maybe Something Beautiful, How Art Transformed a Neighborhood by F. Isabel Campoy and Teresa Howell, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. So boys and girls, on our title page here, once again, we have the title of the story. And notice how these words, beautiful, the word, is in capital letters. Every single letter is capitalized. So maybe the author is trying to tell us something right here. If it's capitalized, he wants us to pay attention more to this word right here. Beautiful. And then we have some colorful, beautiful, a little neighborhood. So colorful. And a bright, beautiful sun. This story, boys and girls, is realistic fiction. Realistic means it's real, but fiction means not real. So then that means that this story, boys and girls, it's not real. The author wrote this story maybe to entertain us, to inform us, or to persuade us. But this story, boys and girls, is not real. He wrote this story to entertain us about a beautiful little community or town. Maybe it can happen in real life, boys and girls, but this story is not real. The characters are fictional in the story that we will be reading ahead. So once again, this story is realistic fiction. And don't forget that the author writes the story and that the illustrator draws pictures. So all these are illustrations. They're not real. This is not this. We know suns don't have smiley faces and a big smile. And we know towns are not like this, colorful. Maybe they can be colorful, but these are illustrations that they put into the book for us for entertainment. Let's continue with the story. Okay, boys and girls?
In the heart of a gray city, there lived a girl who loved to doodle, draw, color, and paint. Every time she saw a blank piece of paper, Myra thought to herself, maybe. And because of this, her room was filled with color, and her heart was filled with joy.
Okay. So we know that she lives in the heart of a gray city, boys and girls. So if you look at the surroundings, if you look at her community, the buildings or her town looks kind of plain. But what do you notice about Mira's room? Yes, her room is very colorful with lots of beautiful drawings that she has drawn and she's hanging from her room. Okay. And that means because if she had those beautiful colors, boys and girls, she was always filled with joy. Very happy person. Look at how these two people are. One's kind of slouching with his head down, sitting down, no color in them. But look at her. Look at the difference between Mira and these two people. I wonder why they're like that. Next page. Let's pay close attention, boys and girls. The setting, if it's changing or what's happening with the characters as well.
On her way to school one day, Myra gave a round apple to Mr. Henry, the owner of the shop down the street. She gave a flower to Ms. Lopez, the lady with the sparkling eyes.
So on her way to school, boys and girls, she's handing out pictures that she's drawing. Her bright, beautiful, colorful pictures. Look at Mr. Henry, the owner of the shop. How is his facial expressions? What do you see about him when she hands him a picture of a beautiful, colorful apple? Is he shocked? Maybe he's shocked because there's color. There's joy in here. And look at her, Miss Lopez. She hands her a flower. What do you think she's trying to do by handing them pictures that she's drawing? These beautiful, colorful pictures? What do you think she's doing? Why is she doing it? Okay, next page.
She gave a songbird to Mr. Sachs and a red heart to the policeman who walked up and down the streets. On her way home, Myra taped a glowing sun onto the wall hiding in the shadows. Her city was less gray, but not much.
Okay, boys and girls, so Mira, she gave a songbird, right here, a songbird to Mr. Sachs. And she gave the policeman a red heart. And then she placed a glowing sun on the wall. So look at her town once again. Her town is not very, very colorful. It's not very happy or a beautiful place. But look at her drawings. What do you think she's trying to do by handing out her colorful beautiful drawings. What could she possibly be trying to do? Maybe she's bringing some joy to them, some colorful, because when you see something colorful, maybe your face lights up, you get happier. Let's continue. Think about what's happening, boys and girls.
The next day, Myra saw a man with a pocket full of paintbrushes. He gazed at the wall. He looked at her son. He held his fingers up in a square and peered through them. He said thoughtfully. What do you see? Myra asked. Maybe something beautiful, the man replied.
So the next day, Myra or Mita saw a man. And this man, boys and girls, had what? Right, paintbrushes. And what do you do with paintbrushes? You paint. Good job. What did he happen to notice? Right, he gazed up at the wall. He looked at the sun that she had put, remember? So what could he be looking at? What is he thinking? Why is he looking at the picture of the sun she put on the wall? Let's find out what he's trying to do.
Then, just like that, he dipped a brush in the paint. Bam! Pow! The shadows scurried away. Sky blue cut through the gloom. The man's laughter was like a rainbow spreading across the sky.
What do you see him doing, boys and girls? What do you see him holding in one hand and the other hand? Yes, on one hand he has a paintbrush, and on the other one he has a bucket full of paint. And he's painting through the shadows. I wonder what he could be doing. What could be so interesting about this man? Let's go on to the next page. Remember, he has a bucket full of paint, and he's painting away the shadows. Maybe he's bringing some light or some beautiful colors into this town.
Who are you? Myra asked. I'm an artist, he said. A muralist. I paint on walls. I'm an artist too, she told him. He handed Myra a brush. Then, come on.
Who was he, boys and girls? Good job. He was an artist, a muralist. Boys and girls, a muralist is a person who paints on walls. That's why he had paintbrushes. And that's why he was painting across the gray town. So she's also a painter, she told him. So I wonder what these two characters are going to do then if they're both artists. Do you have a clue? Remember, their town has no what? Color. I wonder what they could be doing. Let's find out.
Myra dipped it in the loudest color she saw. Yowee! The wall lit up like sunshine.
Oh, so you see, Myra? Now she's painting with the brightest color she could see in the bucket, and she's painting away in the walls. She's being creative. She's bringing some color to her town, her imagination. Look at how beautiful those colors can be, boys and girls. How bright it looks compared to the ones in the back. Look at these. Okay, let's find out what happens next.
As the man drew pictures on the bricks, Myra added color, punch, and pizzazz. Soon, Mr. Sachs joined in. Then came others. Everyone painted to the rhythm. Salsa, merengue, bebop.
Okay. So now, boys and girls, we see more characters, more people that live in that community, and they have joined to do the same thing. They're helping by what? Right. They're helping by painting, boys and girls, because they're seeing the excitement or the joy that the man and that Myra might have. So people are coming in and they're painting and they're dancing, boys and girls. Maybe the color has brought a different change of emotion to them. Color can bring happiness, boys and girls, because it has creativity in your mind. Let's find out what happens next.
Even Myra's mama painted and danced the cha-cha-cha. The whole neighborhood became a giant block party. Until...
So we see everybody here, boys and girls, coming in to paint. The neighborhood is looking more beautiful. It's beautiful, bright colors. People are dancing. They're happy. They're smiling. Oh, but something, until what happened? Let's find out.
The policeman walked up. "Excuse me," he said. The music stopped. Myra put her brush down. They were surely in trouble. The officer cleared his throat, then paused. "May I paint with you?" he asked. So Myra handed him a paintbrush, and the music started again.
Who came, boys and girls? Who is he? The policeman. Yes. Look at his face. He looks very serious. I wonder what he could be doing or what he's going to do. What did Myra give him? Yes, a paintbrush. I wonder what the policeman will start doing. Do you think he'll join the painting or he'll stop the painting? Let's find out.
Teachers and papas jumped in. Babies, too. Myra and the man handed out brush after brush. Color spread throughout the streets. So did joy.
Oh, so the policeman joined in the painting. Here you have his paintbrush and his bucket of paint. So look, boys and girls, look at how the community has changed now. What do you see in the community? Yes, beautiful bright colors. And the people, boys and girls, have also changed. They have joy. They have joy, boys and girls, because when you add color to the world and to the town, it makes you feel happier. You just don't want to see gray and black colors. You want to see pink, purple, blue, yellow, those beautiful bright colors, boys and girls. And you see all these people working together. Look at them. Together to help their community look more beautiful.
Wherever Myra and the man went, art followed like the string of a kite. After they colored the walls, they painted utility boxes and benches. They decorated sidewalks with poetry and shine, and everyone danced. Together, they created something more beautiful than they had ever imagined.
So, boys and girls, wherever Myra and the man went, joy always followed them. Because paint, when you paint something beautiful and bright, it makes you feel happier. There's something about color, boys and girls, creativity, that makes the world a more beautiful place when it's colorful. That's why in my classroom, boys and girls, when we come back together, I like to have my colorful bright, lots of fun things that attract your attention. So the world became a better place because of this Matt and Myra, because they like to have their art. Their art was put into the world for people to see, boys and girls, with beautiful bright colors. The world became a better place for everybody.
When their clothes were splattered with a million colors, everyone sat down to rest, except the muralist. His eyes sparkled. You, my friends, are all artists, he told them. The world is your canvas. He smiled wide, then pulled everything together in big sweeping motions. His paintbrush was like a magic wand.
So the man, boys and girls, told everybody that they were all artists because they all were painting. Okay? This is your world of canvas, a place where they can paint, boys and girls.
When he was finished, Myra added one more bird way up in the sky. Maybe, she thought, just maybe.
So what do you think she did that for? Why do you think she kind of painted a bird up in the sky? Maybe with creativity, boys and girls, when you add your imagination and when you think really hard and you bring all this joy to the world can be a better place, boys and girls, by beautiful animals flying around. Maybe she wants beautiful animals to be flying around colorful in the sky as well to make her place even more beautiful than it was already becoming. Next page. So boys and girls, we've come to the end of the story, but we have a little note from the author. Now the author, boys and girls, this story was realistic fiction. The author was entertaining us about a story about a town, how art can change the world and the place that Myra lived. Now just because the story is not real doesn't mean that we can't make our community colorful and make it look like the most beautiful place we could ever live. You can go to a park and paint murals as well, boys and girls. Beautiful, colorful murals for kids to look at. Pictures of flowers, pictures of birds. Okay, let's go ahead and put this one recording, the play audio for from the author. I'm going to read it. Maybe something beautiful is based on a true story. At one time, the colorful East Village near downtown San Diego, California, did not have murals on the walls, nor quotes from Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and Cesar Chavez written on the sidewalks. Benches were not the works of art you can see now, and people living in the area were not part of the vibrant community, but they are today. Instead, the streets were gray and drab. But one day, a husband-wife team, he's an artist, she saw a graphic designer and community leader, moved in and transformed their neighborhood into a place of beauty. So boys and girls, when you transform something into the best you can do, it makes your community more beautiful, boys and girls, for people to be able to enjoy. Have you thought of ways of anything your community can look, boys and girls? I hope you enjoyed the story.